Okay, so I don't have a title for this yet, but here goes. It was resilience that taught me through unbearable weight of my soul's capability to bend but never break. And so it became familiar, a second nature to survive, every obstacle a reverence, every standard on high. No challenge went ignored, no demand met mediocrity. In the absence of grace existed a velocity. And I presumed it to be as infinite as every snag, within each thread some faith for what I may have lacked. But even steel softens under pressure. Even strength needs shelter. The strongest act of love is grace. The strongest act of love is grace.
I love that. I love that. I love that. How did you learn to give yourself grace?
I'm still learning. That's not something I've mastered yet, unfortunately. That's one of the most difficult things for me. And I don't think it was until I just could not take it anymore. You know, like they say the body keeps the score. So it wasn't until it started really affecting my health that I was forced to start to integrate that into my everyday life. And so it's a practice that I haven't mastered yet.
It stuck with me, the part about, even steel, with enough pressure can be hardened. And that's a great image to, when you're talking about resilience and giving grace, is that, there's times we're all tested and to get through it, it takes that amazing strength. So
Thank you.
Denise, what would you want people to take away from your story, your message, your poem?
That the strongest act of love is grace. So I think that if everybody can just integrate that, there are many ways to show that we love ourselves and that we love other people. But at our core, we're each love and we all go through things in life. And so I think the strongest act of love is grace. I hope that everybody can consider that.
Here we go. The past and present tense, like crows on a fence. The circus fire intense, gazing deep in your eyes with blue glass tints. I forgot where I came and whence. Can't pay no attention, hang the expense. No richer than sixpence, man's got no sense. Still my fly flows dispense luminous to those in distress, feel the empty and depressed. And when I'm feeling lost, I'm cribbing Robert Frost. The past and present tense, future imperfect gap so immense. Loans, credit cards got me feeling so low. Squandered opportunities, YOLO, like Gatsby, driven to historical revision. I was uninformed by the regular norm, not woke enough to spot the spokes of the jokes. Locker room quotes and quips, giggles and fits. The kibbles and bits I bit from life's grit turned into lessons I couldn't forget. Nature's greatest gold is green, impossible to hold. No longer in a tree reading Tristan and Isolde. Can't catch a minute, nothing stays, surely not gold. Don't know if I should stay, maybe bluff or fold. Would I be so bold and leave my story untold? My English major hasn't done much for me yet, but I'll recover that debt and then some bet. I'll recover that debt and then some bet.
I was just impressed by the whole thing, the entire thing. I can't just single out a single line, but I love that you referenced Robert Frost because I know one of his poems that stuck with me, and I had to look it up to make sure, but it was The Road Not Taken. And I feel like that piece could also resonate with what you were trying to say too. So I think that was absolute genius. And you as an artist, I think the English major is paying off because you're able to reference other people's work and take from your own, and make this rap, which not a lot of people can do. And sorry to say that a lot of the modern day rappers just are not that great. You are incredible.
Okay, I'll start with this one, which is about my grandmother. So 2024 started with petals on the floor, one for every moment that our memories went dormant. If I could see the path that would lead us to the past, maybe then we would be happy. But for now, silver petals are running down my face, gently touching the ground as I'm trying to erase the pain of the instance. If only I could watch from a distance, but I'm right here with you, and there's nowhere I'd rather be. More than in a room together, how easy was it to think we would only know moments of bliss? How I'd roll my eyes sometimes when you'd ask me to call you more than once a day. That would rub me the wrong way, but today, what would I give away in exchange for a phone call? Knowing that your voice someday I might not recall. I realized a few weeks ago that I threw away an envelope you had signed And it broke me back to think that I didn't foresee how your signature would become a mystery to me, how even your name could never be written the same again. One more petal drops as I think back in crops, souvenirs into bits and pieces, fragments of what they once were. Still, they hold their beauty. But that's not how I want to remind you. I want to remember your smile, your laugh, even when it was inappropriate to laugh or smile. I want to record the love in your gaze. The emotions you left us with are an endless river, always pouring, always giving, and despite the pain, there is so much love left. Almost like it's renewed through each day, through each laugh, through every sign, confirming you're still here with us, through us, and that you can still be a part of the conversations. Addressing those words to you makes me feel somewhat connected. It reminds me that your name doesn't have to be silent. I might not hear a response through your voice, through your own words, but writing about you and creating my poetry around your life is a way for me to stay with you, to be wrapped up in your arms and feel the comfort you instilled in me. So this year, I hope that there won't be as many petals on the floor. I know I won't miss you any less, but I have cried enough. I don't want to associate my love for you with any kind of sadness or lack. If I did, my sight would just close to black, but I won't let it happen. You're in the sun, you're in every bit of light and hope my eyes and heart can collect. If anything, you're even more divine now than you could ever be in our treated world. Thank you for watching over us. Thank you for the moments, those memories, those moments of love, of care, of lullaby stories, and drawings of my favorite TV cartoons. You knew just how to reassure us, didn't you? You were always so sure of us. All I can do, all I can think of as a way to say thank you is to sublime in my best way and learn to share kindness my way. And then there's like this really short one, the last one about confidence. So I have always thought of this concept as a distant strength, a country I would perhaps get to visit someday if I worked hard enough. If I perceived it as a mysterious quality of the soul, like a magic trick that could illuminate any room. I thought that confidence meant perfection. What if you don't need to possess everything to be confident? What if confidence needs errors and losses to grow? What if confidence was actually creating a mess, but taking the first steps anyway? What if be yourself, you're not alone, and you are enough, were full sentences after all? What if confidence was here, growing all along, patiently waiting to emerge?
That's beautiful. Was your grandmother your primary caregiver as a child?
She was definitely like that. I have both of my parents, and they raised me, but like she was really like the strong figure in my life for sure.
I'm sorry for your loss. It sounds like you guys were always very close and she knew how much you loved her.
So I wrote this poem. It's called Some Days. For me, it was just for women breaking cycles they never really signed up for in life, and for mothers still learning how to love themselves, and just overall anyone who's ever felt unchosen, unheard, and just still kept going. So this is Some Days. I hope you guys like it. Some days, I'm nothing but breath, stitched together by obligation. I pour cereal with hands that used to tremble from hunger. I smile with a mouth that often begs God, please, let me be strong tomorrow. And still, I get up. I clock in, I wipe counters and tears and tiny faces. I speak in soft tones to children I'm terrified of failing, weaving my voice like bandages, hoping it holds their wounds better than silence held mine, while my own inner child is screaming in a locked room no one ever walked into. I didn't learn love. I learned how to shrink inside myself like furniture wrapped in plastic, preserved, untouched, uninvited. I didn't get lullabies, I got slammed doors. I got the shame of charity clothes folded like a pity in plastic grocery bags handed to me, screaming like a warning, you do not belong. But I kept pretending. I made my pain quiet, palatable, digestible, because girls like me don't get to fall apart. We get called too much when we start telling the truth. I'm raising 3 miracles with a heart held together by trauma tape and prayers whispered into a pillow no one else hears. No one taught me how to be a mother, but I'm here. Every night, choking on exhaustion, feeding love, fighting guilt. Do you know what it means to be someone's safe place when you've never known one yourself? To teach them their worth while you're still searching for your own? I wanted someone to say, you're not lazy, you're not a failure. You're tired, and that's allowed. But no one came. So I started saying it to myself. You're okay. You're trying. You're still here. But if I'm honest, the world came crashing down as if the gates of hell were opening from the heavens above. I couldn't look myself in the mirror and see who I was. Behind the smudged eyeliner blurred like broken promises. Behind tears that fell faster than the breath I could catch them with. I didn't see a woman. I still see a memory of a girl. Still begging to be held. Still waiting to be chosen without hesitation. Still wondering if healing will ever feel like home. Grace is not pretty. Grace is not poetic. Grace is sobbing in a locked bathroom whispering, I forgive you to the stranger in the mirror. Grace is messy and it is mine. Because despite it all, despite the pain, despite the past, despite the names they gave me, I am becoming everything I needed. I am the softness my mother never gave me. I am the safety my father never built. I am the peace I was denied, the steady arms I needed most. So when I feel like I'm drowning, when shame wraps around my spine like chains, dragging memories behind me like rusted metal tied to a girl who never learned how to run without bleeding, I whisper her name, Grace. And I mean me. I mean every scar, every quiet comeback, every breath I took when I didn't want to. I am still here, and for that I give myself grace until it builds a home where no one ever abandoned me. And still, I call her Grace, and she looks like me.
That was incredible. I'm like holding back tears. Denise is holding back tears. I don't know who else is holding back tears. That was amazing. Where in the world did you find your strength?
If I'm being honest, I'm still finding it every day. It takes a lot for me to continue pushing every moment, but I see my children and they push me to just keep going, and I see myself in them. So it's still growing. My strength is definitely still growing.
I know last time you mentioned you were a single mom of 3 and going to school. There were some parts in your poem that made me wonder, were you in foster care?
I was not in foster care, but I didn't really live with my mom or dad growing up at those early stages. I was always kind of just going from family member to family member, just staying with everybody until, I finally ended up in a place where I could settle for a while.
I want to go with Denise because I feel like there's some parallels in your stories, and I know she's gonna have some wise words for you. And I think you're early 20s, right, Shailene?
Yes, I will be 24 next week Wednesday.
Okay, so Denise is like a little ahead of you, right? Not too much.
I'm 29, but I had my daughter when I was 23, and so I've been a single mom since I was pregnant with her. And that's a lot of growing to do at that young age, because I look back and I'm just like, I was a baby to the world, and you have these babies now, and you really have to learn, and it's hard. It is a very difficult thing to do, but I wanted to say that one of the things that I've learned. So in therapy is the phrase, that shame was never yours to carry, because I know you mentioned several times about the shame that you had to carry with you. And so you really have to consider, that shame was never yours. It was, you were a child, you were an innocent child, and these people were supposed to be caring for you, and they couldn't. It was their lack of something, their lack of depth or financial ability. But regardless, there was negligence that was never your fault. It was their lack of preparation, and that shame was never yours to carry. And so I hope that through the years, and you start to build that strength, and you can teach your kids the same thing, that shame isn't yours. It's always just, it's unfortunate, and it's amazing where you get your strength from when you don't have somebody leading you to it, and so I think it's beautiful. I think you have all the capabilities in you to be able to raise these kids successfully, and I hope that you can find time in between all of that, because I know how busy it can be. I hope you find time for you, and maybe to integrate this into your kids as well, because if you could just see the talent, you'd be so amazed. And I'm sure your kids possess the same thing. So I just think that would be beautiful, something beautiful for you to have with them too.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I've been a mom since I was 19, so it was very fast. And at first I always felt like, oh boy, I don't know what's going to happen, but I always wanted better for my children. So in a short period of time with no planning, I tried to make sure that throughout it all, we're here together, thick and thin, even if it is just me.
So I titled this The Potential of the Dragonfly Nymph. Dear 20-year-old me, so you flunked out of college and lost your one true love. Now you think you're lazy, dumb, despicable. Another useless maggot of our society. A cancerous tumor bulging up, pressing upon our dying Mother Earth. I know you're sadly stuck in the ultimate existential catch-22. Claim death and stab a dagger in your parents' hearts. Keep breathing and burden them all as you suffer. Hold my hand and listen close as I tell you of another way. I will show you a path to living. You can shed your sickly skin. What is held within you is brighter than the darkness blacking out your soul. The trick is not to push harder, but rather to ease into yourself. Relax into all that scares you. Recover what hides and haunts. Only then can you dig out the dirt. Take time to purge so as to heal. Be patient with the process. Transformation is within your reach, but the grabbing is slow and arduous. Like the alien nymph buried in the mud, you'll one day emerge anew, with wondrous wings to take flight. Oh, the lands you will discover. Your adventures are only beginning. Every part will piece you together, each experience food for your growth. You may think you're outrunning the beast, but really you're steering your wild heart. Someday you'll be the touchstone, the teacher, the leader, the inspiration for those you're yet to meet, but who will find their own way through you. Your butterfly effect will ripple forth, brightening the worlds of many beings. So please, my dear former self, don't discard or disregard who you are. There's more to us than you know. You're a dragonfly in waiting, temporarily buried in the muck, simply preparing for life in the sun.
Thank you so much, Kara. It's such a beautiful poem and a beautiful message.
Thank you.